I'm going to assume that means we are live, or very soon will be. Welcome back, everybody, to the Storytime Network. This is technically the Paradox Hour, and this is the Summer Anime Mid-Season Check-In, despite the fact that it is not necessarily the mid-season.
Two-thirds of the way through most of the season.
I am your entirely exhausted Brit Mill, and I'm joined by, I assume, similarly exhausted Californian Jack.
Yep, I worked 9 hours yesterday.
I'm just exhausted.
I am so tired.
My sleep debt is bigger than invert vaguely historical and economic reference there. That's how tired I am, which is, good sign for the stream to come. So as we said, this is the Summer Anime Mid-Season Check-In. You'll notice that we don't have Coney there in the bottom corner. He is unfortunately unavailable today, which means we will not be discussing the shows that only he is watching, but at this point, I believe that is just Uramichi. We will also not be watching Obey Me, because even though it's 5 minutes, I completely forgot about it, and therefore don't have anything new to add about it, other than it's 5 minutes long, it's for a mobile game I've not played. I assume it's pretty decent for what it is. Instead, you should be able to, throughout the stream, type !anime in the chat, and Nightbot will tell you the name of the show we are discussing, assuming that I keep up with that and Nightbot doesn't fuck me over the way it was earlier today. But starting off the discussion, it is a favourite of both of ours, Aquatope of White Sand.
This show is so fucking good, man.
It is very good. It is very good indeed. It is probably at the top for me, I would say.
I said, it's neck and neck with Kageki Shoujo for my top spot.
Same. Though, to be fair, Fena has jumped up there as well, but we will get to that. So, I'm trying to remember where last we left off with Aquatope in terms of our discussion.
We're talking about how gay it is.
We were talking about how gay it was. But did we get to episode 5 is the question. I think we might have.
I don't believe so, no.
Did we not?
I think, no. The last one was 3. Last check-in was, I believe... Oh, did we? I don't know. Was it 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago?
Thursday was episode 8, episode 7, episode 6, episode 5. Episode 5 was the 5th of August. When did we do the 3 plus episode check-in?
We did 3 plus episode check-in the Saturday before.
August 8th. So yes, we did get to episode 5.
We didn't get episode 5.
We did get to episode 5. Because we did the 3 plus check-in on the 8th. We did it on the 8th, and episode 5 was the 5th.
Yep.
So
we only have 3 episodes for Aquatope to discuss, but a lot happens.
I mean, they were fairly big ones. So episode 6 was all about the food stalls, which was quite a fun episode because we got to hang out with Udon-chan a bit more.
She's great.
Which was great. Really enjoyed that. Episode 7 was very much the break episode. Beach episode with little kids and adults who should know better than to compete with them. As well as a worrying...
Come on, we both know that Kuya doesn't...
Kuya is the most... Kuya is most definitely not mature enough to not compete with a little kid. Especially a little kid who is, like, competing for the affection of Kai's sister, which was a fun little twist. The unfortunate thing about episode 7 is it sort of leaned away from the Yuri and more the, oh, I think of you as a sister route, which I don't think any of us watching actually wants to happen.
No. I don't know of a single person who actually is happy with that possible development.
Yeah, it's really not, the preferred option here. And then on Thursday we had episode 8 where the girls and Umiyan, who is consistently excellent, travel to a local hospital to give some hospital kids a taste of the aquarium. Now, unfortunately, in the episode titled Crab Crisis, there is a character, the head nurse, who is deathly afraid of crabs. I think you can tell what happened. Um, what was...
Insert crab rape meme here.
Yeah. Obviously, a crab hitched a ride because, hey, crabs are small and good at hiding in their environment because, hey, otherwise they'd be eaten. And so they missed one. It got taken to the hospital. And then when Fuka tried to pick it up and take it, or put it out of sight, certainly, it snipped her on the thumb and escaped. Resulting in, when they heard about this, Umiyan and Kukuru tried to help out, and then the head nurse walked in, resulting in these sets of expressions. Umiyan in particular looks like he's been kicked in the bollocks. Which, unfortunate for them, hilarious for us. I mean, the episode also gave us like a really nice little bit with Umiyan and a girl who used to go to the aquarium but then stopped. I'm not entirely sure what was wrong with her, whether she had been in an accident or if she was just ill. It really wasn't made clear. She was just in a wheelchair.
It's never stated.
Yeah. All we know is she was in a wheelchair. And, like, I'm not sure why she was mad at Umiyan. It seemed weird.
I mean, she is a child.
I know, and that does obviously, give an excuse in some sense, but there was never really any reason why she was mad at him given. Like, I'm fairly sure she stopped showing up to the aquarium first, which I assume was to do with her illness. Maybe she went while Umiyan was, out with his bad back, which is still quite bad. There he is trying to reassure Fuka and Kukuru he can carry anything, and then he picks something up and his back just cracks. But he's making it
man's
through.
Back is about as sturdy as rice crackers.
Yeah, it's really not in a good state. So maybe she did visit while he was out, and maybe that's the issue, but it was never actually stated that happened, so I'm a little bit confused on that front. The other storyline from this episode was that what's-her-face? Karen revealed that she maybe didn't believe that Gamma Gamma would stay open after the summer, which, in fairness, not a lot of time and not many people believing in it. I can sort of understand why, but obviously Kukuru takes that badly. But they make up in the end, which is nice.
It is.
So yeah, I mean,
But we've had a few episodes now focusing on the supporting cast, which has been nice.
yeah, it is. It is nice to get to know the supporting cast better. It's also, in the background, Fuka is clearly making progress as an aquarium attendant, so that's nice. And even with the main focus being on, in order, from 6 to 8, Udon, Kuya, and Umiyan, Kukuru is still very much getting a spotlight there as well, as sort of the B plot of the episodes. And her basically, struggling to keep the aquarium alive. It almost makes you wonder if it would have been.
What was also really great was in.
Go ahead.
Bill?
Hello? Yeah,
I can hear you.
My internet is wildly fluctuating. But yeah, what I was going to say is I wonder if it was. I don't think it's affecting the stream just yet. I will let you know if it goes out entirely. Please, mobile internet, work for just a few hours. I don't rely on you for much anymore. But yeah, what I was going to say was it might have been. I wonder if it would have been kinder for the grandpa not to let Kukuru do this, because now she's getting even more invested, and it's going to hurt all the more if she doesn't manage to keep it alive.
Yeah.
It really is, an unfortunate situation for her. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Mm-hmm. Now, there was a bit in, I think, episode 5 or 6, we finally see Kukuru get subjected to the magical realism of the place. And she sees a vision of her dead parents, and that bit hit me right in the fucking gut.
Yeah, I think that might have been 6. I don't think it was 5.
I'm pretty sure it was 6.
Yeah. Either way,
yeah. I'm 90% sure it was 6.
Yeah, it was a very good scene.
Like a very, very powerful moment.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely progress being made on the keeping there's definitely being progress made on the keeping the aquarium afloat front.
Keeping the aquarium.
Yeah. They're making waves. They made an Instagram account for it. They had the shaved ice success. So they are getting there. It's just whether it's going to be enough in time, really.
Mm-hmm.
And you do wonder how they're going to stretch this out to 2 cores. Because while we are at episode 8 of... is it 24?
24. We are also only at episode 8 of 24.
And it is something like midway through August. And Fuka, at least, is supposed to go home in September. So... I mean, we'll see what happens.
To work with.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know the current belief is that there's going to be a time skip between the 2 cores, and Fuka's going to go away and then come back a little bit older. Whether Gamma Gamma will still be around when she leaves or comes back is going to be an interesting thing to find out.
Also, the most recent episode ended with a little bit of a cliffhanger of a new girl showing up to start working at the aquarium.
Oh yeah,
so that'll be fun.
She's training for another aquarium, which might be... So one of the issues that Karen reveals is that there is a new aquarium being built basically in the center of the city or the town, which is obviously a lot easier for tourists to get to than I think where they are is something like an hour outside of the nearest city. And obviously, not many tourists make
Something
it
like
out
that.
there. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so certainly the deck is stacked against Gamma Gamma and Kukuru, but you know, weirder things have happened in anime. And yeah, all I can say is, you know, looking forward to
Yep.
getting more of this. It is very much a very enjoyable show. I mean, as expected, PA Works is well putting in the work for the animation. It still looks great. Uh, I hope it you know goes full Yuri.
I do so as well.
Anything left to say for Aquatope, or should we move on?
I think we should move on to the next show,
Moving on then
which is
to,
your show.
I wouldn't call it my show, but it is Battle Game in 5 seconds. Let me just do the Nightbot.
Correction, it is your trash show.
It is very much my trash show. It is not good. Not good at all, frankly. Um, Let me just get it up on Crunchyroll so I can try and remember where the fuck I ended this one. Come on, open up phone. Let's see. So, I believe it was episode 4. So, episode 5, 6, and 7 have been all in the same arc. Very much, well, the next game after the last one was sticking them in a forest with a bunch of other people who we hadn't seen before. And they have to get, I think, a certain amount of points, but they also don't have any sort of time limit. And for the most part, it's been split up into two very stereotypical teams. You've got the red team, which are the kill 'em all, like God sort 'em out team, or might is right team. And then you've got the green team, which is, you know, the nice team. And then
I wonder which the protagonist's on.
yeah, despite the fact that he might actually be more suited to the red team, just because he's a bit of a. I don't think he'd be going too far to call him a sociopath. In the middle, there's also like blue team, who I don't really know what the fuck they're doing. They're just sort of there. But
The blue team is obviously there to fight the red team and contemplate the nature of the universe.
No, they don't seem to be doing much. They seem to be the apathetic team who just sort of hang around and don't really get involved. We've seen like maybe 2 scenes with them in the 3 episodes.
Jeez.
So first and foremost, despite the how they parted, what's his face, Akira and Yuri met up immediately. Which, hey, fine, go for it, I guess. I don't really care enough about them to have cared about their parting and then reunion, but you know, they did end up going to the green team. The leader's power is something to do with diplomacy, like or negotiation. Like he can open a negotiation with somebody, and therefore can't be. I don't think either of them can be harmed during the negotiation, but if the other person like attacks, when the leader ends the negotiation, the attack power gets rebounded back at the other person, which is a very violent power for something about negotiation. Not to mention, Akira has been experimenting with his interesting power that's not really been handled well. He's used about a grand total of 3 powers now, I think, which is better than the 1 from the last check-in, but it's still fairly shit. He could be doing so much more with this, I feel. And
Yep.
I saw a comment, and I think the most recent episode, the author wants Akira to be like incredibly smart, but the author isn't smart and so doesn't know how to write him that smart. Um, which sort
Yeah,
of,
the thing with writing smart, that they're limited by the intelligence of the author.
yeah, and that makes Akira just sort of bland and not that interesting. Um, Not to mention, I'm still committing to muting any time that fucking annoyingly voiced cat girl comes on screen. Like, it's kind of the worst. It is outright making me not want to watch the show because of how prevalent she is and how terrible her voice is. As I said, you've got the red team, who's led by a giant brute of a man who we don't know the power of, and then a smart guy who we also don't know the power of, but is actually, actually in control and is in control of the strategies. And coming up, we now have a game where red and green have to try and take out each other's leaders, and the losing team just gets killed wholesale. Hooray!
Wow.
There wasn't enough death in this death game for everyone apparently. So also we've got a fucking love corner developing as well, which is a little annoying.
Mm-hmm.
We've obviously got Yuri and Akira as one side of it, because hey, Yuri's a girl and therefore must be attracted to any male who is even the slightest bit cool, or certainly the protagonist. Hooray! Um, yeah, yeah. Let's be honest, I wasn't expecting anything better from this show. It's not like I was expecting like a good romance subplot from this show. It's not got good enough writing for that to happen.
There's no such there is no such thing as a death game series with a good romance subplot.
I mean, you are not incorrect. Mostly because death games are kind of trash, a trash genre in general. Um, the other side of the love corner is Ringo, Glasses Girl, whose power, I think I said last time, is to use her opponent's power at what was it, 10% its strength or something like that. Which means she actually knows what.
Oh, so her.
Go ahead.
I thought her power would be playing the drums really well.
I don't. My brain is not quick enough to know the reference you're talking about.
Ringo Starr.
Ringo. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so she actually knows what Akira's real power is, and makes the mistake of confronting him about it. But she also knows Akira because they used to play the same video game, and obviously because he's super smart, he was really good at the game. So she has a crush on him, and tries to be
Of course she does.
tries to be his partner in this death game because they both have powers that require the help of other people, basically.
That's his eyeball.
Mm-hmm. But here's the issue with that strategy.
Their powers are very not complementary to each other.
Yeah, there's A, that, and B, if Akira's goes down because, somebody doesn't believe he's got the power he says he does, and his bond with his partner stops working, he ends up being fucked if he teams with Glasses Girl, because what the fuck is she gonna do? Whereas with Yuri, who can quintuple her strength or her physical attributes, at least there's something going on there. There was an actual pretty good line in in the episode. Let me just find it. I know I put it in the TFS seasonal anime chat, and I gotta go find it. Can't remember exactly what day it was. Here it is. So in episode 7 started with the old leader dude fighting this giant fuck off creature that could regenerate. And him, trying to sacrifice himself, telling the rest of his team to run and save themselves. And Akira and some other dude who has a bow and arrow, but I can't remember his name, giving good reasons for why, hey, maybe they should get out of here. Yuri basically goes, you're right, but I'm too dumb to know that, and just charges in. Literally, that is basically what she says. Like, she says, you're making very good points, but I'm too stupid to understand them. So I'm going to run in anyway. And it gets a yare from Akira, because of course it does. So that was actually a pretty good moment, but it was ruined by Mion getting involved.
She channeled her inner Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, she kind of did. Like this show, I mean, it's a trash show. It really is, but it's got some fun moments. The other thing to note is that the fucking animation is terrible. Like these creatures they were fighting over the last couple of episodes were fully CG. Anytime Yuri moved more than moved the slightest bit quickly, so anytime she attacked or ran, she had to have a CG model, which it's not a great CG model either.
Oh no!
And it's just doesn't look particularly great. So yeah, it's not the best looking anime, frankly. Which doesn't help it because, in a death game, you'd at least like to think that the animation for fights would be decent, but no, not the case.
I can't believe you had actual expectations for this beyond mediocrity.
Who the fuck is making this? Synergy SP and Vega Entertainment. I assume Synergy SP is probably the one.
I have never heard of that studio.
So, they did Eighth Son, which I believe you watched.
Ah. Yes, I did watch that one.
They did an Initial D.
The fuck?
They've done some Beyblade. This is well in the past, I should note. So, things might have gotten rough for them. Because they also haven't done much in the interim. They had a 3-year gap between doing stuff, which was an OVA second season of 12 Psy. Age 12. And then that was in 2015, and then they did a movie for Go-chan, Go-chan and Moko Forever Friends on Ice, and then they had another 2-year break before they did Eighth Son.
That's not a good sign.
It's not the best sign, is it? It's really not the best sign. Then Vega Entertainment, what the fuck have they done?
Well, how about
nothing.
How about we move on with trash values to a show with actual good production values?
Still fairly trashy, though. The case study of Vanitas. Now I have...
You're not wrong.
It
is trashy.
I have 3 screenshots for this, because, hey, it's got a lot of good shots. So... what the fuck were we talking about with it last time? There's a screenshot.
How goddamn homoerotic it is, and how it's gotten somehow even more homoerotic over the course of the series.
It's gone both homoerotic and Heteroerotic as well, though, is the issue.
I mean, every single major character in this series has some degree of bisexual energy to them.
They do, but I don't trust. I don't trust fucking Japan to actually go through with something like that.
Fair.
Is the
That's
issue.
very fair.
Um,
Also, Vanitas remains a fucking goblin.
yeah, I mean, again,
So at least
admittedly,
there do seem to be hints that his assholishness does stem from some degree of insecurity and or self-loathing.
no. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think we said this last time. He very much seems like he's a death seeker, and he's acting like this to provoke people and try and get himself killed. Um, that very much comes to a
Basically,
head in one of the episodes. Which one of the episodes is that? Uh, Come on, Funimation, load the thing at least a little bit quickly.
I believe it was the previous episode, the one where he no, it was the one where he pissed off Ruthven. I think that
Yes,
was
I think
the
that was.
not this week's episode,
I
but the
think it
last
was.
week's
Yeah, I
episode.
think it was. Not last episode, but the episode before that, um, where he, makes the correct guess that the vampire queen is actually dead, um, and hey, it's actually, well, it's very interesting. It's one of those, sort of, he knew exactly what was going to happen a from the standpoint of Ruth, then, who was clearly just gonna fucking try and murder him, but he was actually going for the or looking at the reaction of Luca, who is actually, I believe, the heir to the vampire throne, maybe.
I believe he's the something along those lines. I believe he's Ruthven's nephew or something.
Yeah,
Either the nephew of the queen. It's kind of unclear.
I think he's the nephew of Ruth, then, and I think it's less. He's the heir to something incredibly important, certainly. Um, it
I
might
know
be,
that Ruthven is acting as the regent.
yeah. So I think it's more I mean, he's basically heir to the. Luca is basically the heir to the leadership of the country, considering the Vampire Queen is actually dead. Certainly, didn't look good in the one shot we got of her. Um, so
She's at the very least not.
yeah, she was very blackened and like. I feel like
World.
if you poked her hard enough, like, she would crumble. Um, so yeah, it's not a good situation there, and Luca entirely gives it away to Vanitas. Um, but they end up getting chucked out of the vampire world for it. So they're back in human Paris, and because of course they do, they get involved with the church. Um,
And that leads to a situation where we meet a guy aptly named Roland.
who is buff, very buff.
And also very fanatical. At least when we first meet him.
Which we will be able to see from this screenshot here. Both bits of that, fanatical and buff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fight, the results in episode 9, because they basically disguise themselves as church guards and go into the catacombs to try and find the I believe they're called chasseurs. Chasseurs' headquarters, of which Roland is a part of. Come across Roland, who basically susses them out immediately because, hey, they're fairly obvious. Even trying to disguise themselves, they're pretty obvious. And ends up imprisoning Vanitas and flashbanging Noe, which is not a euphemism.
He quite literally uses a flashbang grenade.
Yeah. And yeah, the fight that results is really well animated. I mean, as you'd expect from Bones, but while the general production quality of Vanitas had been high, this was the first time we got to see something approaching, I would say, Sakuga.
That sounds about right.
What was also really hilarious from the most recent episode was Noe's insistence that they should explain to Roland what was going on, which is that some mad scientist who had been cast out of the church was kidnapping vampires to experiment on them. Vanitas was very opposed to this, right up until the point Noe takes Vanitas hostage, because Roland has been basically set on redeeming Vanitas and saving him from the vampire's clutches. So Noe took him hostage. Actually took him hostage, considering Vanitas didn't want this to happen, and does actually manage to explain.
Well, it is also Vanitas' fault for being a dick to Noe.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was Vanitas suggested the hostage idea, but with one of Roland's comrades. Noe said, fuck that, and ended up just taking Vanitas hostage himself. And does actually manage to explain what's happening to Roland. And Roland immediately accepts it and agrees to work with them, which is hilarious. And it's a nice subversion, because obviously, generally, when you get this sort of stuff, Noe would be the naive one trying to work with trying to work with the enemy and doing enemy of my enemy is my friend, and it just not working out. So it was nice that it did actually, work out. At which point they went and found what's his actual name? I don't remember it. Moreau, I think it is. Dr. Moreau.
Moreau.
Yeah. They go and find.
God, it's the evil of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah. They go and find Dr. Moreau's lab, and as it turns out, Vanitas was actually one of the people experimented on by Dr. Moreau, and Dr. Moreau realizes this and gives a welcome committee to Vanitas.
And Vanitas is subject number 69.
Nice. When I saw this screenshot, I just couldn't stop laughing, because just the expressions on everyone's faces. Vanitas is clearly pissed. Noe is like, what the fuck is going on? Roland is just confused, and the other two are like, what the fuck is going on as well?
They're stunned.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is probably a new record for the show, in that Vanitas hasn't been a creep for 2 episodes. Which, is not great. But hey, hopefully the streak continues, because it is pretty much the worst part of this show, and otherwise it's excellent. I mean, just in terms of the humor, it's on point. The character work has been really interesting and good. So yeah, it's really only Vanitas being a creep with Jean that is pulling it down, and thankfully they are very much apart from each other now. So even if
Mm-hmm.
Vanitas is basically blackmailing Jean into a committed relationship, question mark. That's
I don't know.
that's certainly the impression I got from that discussion, which hey made Noe incredibly jealous. So there's definitely still
Yeah.
homoeroticism there. It's just unfortunate that the show seems to be committing to the
What was also
hetero
neat
romances.
about that? What was neat about that scene as well was Domi also while Vanitas and Noe are dancing, Domi decides to dance with Jean as
Mm.
well, and she seems all too happy to do it.
It is quite nice that
Which
there is
hey,
something of an actual love square going on.
yeah,
It's rare that those happen. And it's rare that those are actually, proper squares, and it does seem like there might be some element of square to it. Um,
yeah,
Poor Paul Luca is too young to be involved in the square to his own dismay.
yep. But anyways, we should probably not spend as much time on the next few shows as we have these past few shows.
Don't worry, it's
Because
not going
holy
to take.
shit,
It's not
we've
going to
spent
take.
40 minutes on 3 shows.
Yeah, it's not going to take long on this one. Decide, Traumerei the animation or something like that. Uh, yeah, it's not very good.
Oh, is
Well,
this the better or worst of the CG ones that you're
worse,
watching?
worse, easily the worst, and it's gotten worse since then.
Worse?
Um,
I thought.
because it's introduced two new characters from the island. It's the last few episodes have very much revealed the sort of whatchamacallit, like the backstory of the world and so on and so forth. Um, our heroes are fighting against a church, which hey, church is always a good scapegoat villain. Um,
Always a fun antagonist type thing.
there is also an island. So basically, this sort of stuff used to only happen in one place, which has only been called the island, and that's where the vast majority of the knocker ups live. And yes, it's still a hilarious name. Um, but since then, the church has turned their attention to Shibuya, which is where our heroes come in. Um, Jessica, the American, continues to be like, I don't know how old she is, but she can drive and she can wield an actual gun. They have killed real people. I should point out. She certainly has, because they got in a car chase
That's always
and
fun.
they got in a car chase and Jessica absolutely destroyed two of their cars with gunfire. There was also an episode that introduced a girl called Kazuha, who was meant to be a sacrifice to unleash the prehistoric evil ones again. Um, she got shot in the head by a sniper through the wall of a building, which was quite abrupt, and I didn't expect it from the show, to be honest. Um, but yeah, the last couple of episodes have just been quite bad because a couple of characters from the aforementioned island have arrived, uh, and one of them was in a rivalry with Ryuhei, the main character, uh, over just stupid stuff. Like it's such a stupid rivalry. It's like I'm trying to remember what his name is. I think it's Rindo. something like that. Um, like him preferring, the island to Tokyo, and Ryuhei getting stupidly annoyed at that and just acting like a child the entire time, and it's just not enjoyable to watch. Like, it took me so long to get through today's episode because of that. Because he was just being a bitch about it, basically. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is down at the bottom of my list with Battle
That
Game.
will do it.
This is down at the bottom of my list with Battle Game because of that, frankly. Because it's just not enjoyable to watch
Fair.
that sort of stuff. So, um, luckily, I think they have put it to bed in this most recent episode. So, fingers crossed, it won't happen next episode. But if it does, I'll be sorely tempted to drop it because I'm just tired of it happening. I'm tired of fucking putting up with that bullshit. So,
Completely fair.
but we should move on to Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
Man, just look at that beautiful, beautiful screenshot. The animation in Dai is just like, on occasion it just skyrockets in quality,
Mm,
and like on a day to day, on like week to week, it's still decent animation, but like they've been putting in more and more bursts of Sakuga for big action sequences. That's been really nice to watch.
yeah.
This particular bit is Pop learning how to use the ultimate destructive spell by having his beca- by having his mentor fire it at him so he can learn to deflect it by using the same spell. Or rather, well, it wasn't Pop's idea, but that's how it plays out in practice. Hey,
What
Pop, learn the spell or you will die. Wait, what?
wasn't his mentor the dude that died?
No, he has a new mentor who taught him more about magic.
Ah,
Because
okay.
Avon was many things, but a skilled mage was
Not one of them.
magecraft was not his forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, magecraft was not Avon's forte. This guy is a proper wizard, but he's also old and starting to fade. His adventuring days are long past him, so he's trying to pass on a bunch of his techniques to Pop, and this is his ultimate one. But right now, like they're basically recovering after the most recent big attack by the Dark Army and doing some training in the interim before the next big battle that they know is going to come up.
Okay.
And in other news, Hadler is still around and he has new minions who are made of the same material that Dai's sword, Unbreakable Sword, is made up of. They're literally golems made out of the hardest metal on the planet, which is why Pop needs to learn the aforementioned ultimate destructive spell.
Hmm.
So, fun opponents to deal with.
Uh. Well, hopefully Dai's sword doesn't, get caught in any of these destructive waves.
Yep, hopefully.
I mean, Dai doesn't sound
But
like a bad show. It was just not really to my taste, but honestly, it does sound like it's been getting really good these this last
yeah,
core or two.
yeah, it's just really picked up in quality.
Hmm.
Like, especially in, like, the animation department. The early battles were never badly animated, but they were kind of just mid-tier for the
Yeah,
most
they were
part.
just sort of there. Really, it was never anything too special. I mean, if it had been, I might have kept watching a little bit longer.
But yeah, no, the animation for especially the fight scenes has just picked up massively in quality, especially for the big fight scenes that are,
Hmm.
seriously important to the plot.
Yeah.
But anyways, this show is very good, and definitely one to watch if if you enjoy long-running shonen action adventure series.
Especially old-fashioned long-running shonens.
Yeah,
That
very
was
much in the vein of stuff like Dragon Ball.
yeah, which makes sense given the character designer at least.
Yeah, but moving on to
The Duke
a
of Death and his maid.
less series. Okay, to be fair to this one, it has gotten better lately because it's focused less on the haha the maid is making suggestive comments and lewd poses towards him, and more like, oh hey, this kid's actually had a really fucking rough life because he can't touch anyone or anything that is alive without killing them,
Yeah.
and he is like a teenager. So yeah, life's not fun for him. And
No,
the
it doesn't
past few
sound like
episodes
it.
have kind of showcased like before Alice before Alice came along, he was just like absolutely miserable most of the time. So at least she's done a good job of kind of perking him up a bit.
Yeah.
I really should have phrased that better.
Has it gotten
Regardless,
has it gotten more consistent on what he disintegrates and what he doesn't?
yeah, it does seem to be that. Well, he hasn't been shown sitting around in grass. If that's what you're asking.
I mean, yeah, that
But
was. I mean, that was the thing. He was very clearly sat with his hands on grass in the first episode, and nothing happened.
so it seems to be that the most consistent rule is that if he's wearing like particularly thick clothing, like a very thick cloak,
Hmm.
and that and he brushes in someone with that cloak, then they don't die. But if he like just gloves are not enough to prevent him from killing things.
I mean, obviously, this isn't something you could, you know, really experiment with. But has he tried just like wearing really thick gloves and touching something that's, really thickly covered?
No, not yet. We've also gotten some big plot developments though, in that he and Alice try to find the witch who cursed him, and they are when they do go to a witches meeting, they find out that said witch who cursed him is dead. So
Oh dear.
puts a bit of a wrinkle in his plan to get the witch to uncurse him.
I mean, if one
They
witch
need,
could curse him, maybe another witch can uncurse him.
we don't know. It's pretty vague, but it's
Hmm.
all but stated that the witch who cursed him was particularly powerful,
Ah,
which does throw a wrinkle in things.
just a little bit
Yeah,
of one.
he's not having a good time.
No, it doesn't sound like he's having the best of times.
At least he's made a couple new friends, so that's nice.
That's good. Hopefully, he doesn't accidentally brush against one of them and kill them.
This doesn't seem like the kind of show to do that. George R. R. Martin is not writing this show.
If George R. R. Martin was writing this show, Alice would have died in episode 1.
Probably.
She would have tried to pull his pants down
That
and
man
died.
That man is the most prolific serial killer in all of fiction. But anyways, moving on to what's next? Ah, yes.
Fena, Pirate
The
Princess.
only show we haven't been able to cover on these podcasts yet because it premiered so fucking late.
Yep. But now that it has premiered... Okay, before we talk about it, I do just want to mention one thing. I have been watching the sub, but not of my choice, and I'm very annoyed about that. This is getting, basically, or technically simuldubbed on Toonami. But the dub is not getting released on Crunchyroll. Now here's the thing. I live in Britain. Toonami did exist in Britain, does not anymore. Makes it very hard to watch things that air on Toonami or Adult Swim. So I'm quite annoyed about that fact. The sub has been good. I have enjoyed the sub, even if it's got that son of a bitch Kenjiro Suda in it. Thankfully, it looks like his character is drowned. So hooray for that. No, this has been a lot of fun.
Your grudge against that man knows no bounds.
I just want... my grudge will end if I get one season where he doesn't appear in a show I'm watching. Is that so much to ask? All he has to do is take one season off. One season. He won't, go broke because of one season. But yeah, no, this is a really fun show. I mean, I literally watched this today because I was still holding out hope that Crunchyroll might actually upload the dub. More fool me, I guess. But Fena is very entertaining. I really like her. Yukimura is a tsundere, very clear one, but episode 3 did manage to poke some fun at his expense, which was quite good, because he'd been basically the most serious character up until that point. The rest of the crew is great. Look forward to getting more attention on them. Otto and Salmon.
I particularly love the Adventure Girl and the twins. They're all fun.
They are great. Otto and Salmon were great. Really hilarious bit when they were saying goodbye to Fena. When one of them yelled out through tears that the dog got to go, but they didn't. Which I found hilarious. Also, just their whole ineptitude in trying to rescue Fena from the brothel. The fact that they went in the wrong direction twice. And Salmon, despite being, in his youth...
If we're going to have a pirate anime...
Go ahead.
If we're going to have a pirate anime, we might as well have someone in the vein of Zoro who has shit sense of directions.
We have two of those someones, because both Otto and Salmon go in the complete wrong direction.
Yep.
But yeah, this is 3 episodes in. We've also, I'm not sure if he is an antagonist or not. Abel and his associate Cody seem to be trying to get on, or certainly on the trail of Fena. Not entirely sure why. They do at least
I mean, it initially seemed like they'd been hired by that one asshole who was after Fena, but then they chucked him overboard covered in chains, so he's fucking gone.
There is also the implication that Abel is in contact with the dude from Goblin Island. Like the priest dude. I can't remember what his name was.
He was only in one scene.
He was in more than one scene, but he was only in like one episode, I think. And I know he was referred to as priest by most of the residents. I can't remember what his exact name was because it was said like once.
I do think that Abel is likely related to Fena in some way, like a cousin or something.
It does seem likely. They've got a very similar hair color and the same heart-shaped necklace. So I would be surprised if they weren't at this point. But that brings into question whether he has any information about the quest that they are going on. Because before he got, I believe, blown up by a cannonball, Fena's father gave Yukimura a piece of glass and was like, protect this. I'm not going to tell you
It's some
why,
kind of
but protect
clear
this.
stone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's implied that he was going to tell him why, but then he got blown up.
He very much got blown up by a cannonball.
It's one of those classic. His name is bleh.
I mean,
Who's bleh? Who's bleh?
we saw him get blown up just as he was mentioning the name Eden, as in place name. Which, hey, not helpful, Dad. You could have, stuck around maybe a little bit longer to explain what we needed to do. Now we have to go to Germany.
Well,
now we have to go to Germany.
I mean, he suffered the fate of most anime parents. He died.
Yeah.
In the middle of some exposition.
Other than that,
this is still really fun.
No, this is a very fun show. The comedy is on point. The animation has also been superb.
Really good.
Yeah. The animation has been superb, which again
really hard to go wrong with.
Yeah, as I expect from production IG. So
like the one thing I would warn about is like episode 1 does merit a couple content warnings for very clear antagonists, very clearly rapey intense, but nothing explicit happens and they're foiled before anything comes of it, so that's a plus.
What I will say about that bit in episode 1 is they were misusing the term, which was jus prime noctis. Which,
first night, yes.
Well, the historical context for it is that it was back in the olden days when somebody got married, the lord would get to bed the bride first.
No, it's a different thing. So you're thinking of what Fena was. Fena is living at a brothel.
No, I know what Fena was going through, but that's not the meaning of the term they used. They explicitly said jus prime noctis, which is what I said, or which is the term used for the event that I said. What they were doing was just selling a girl's virginity.
Yes.
Which, hey, not great, but Fena got out of it thanks to Otto and Salmon.
It's also pretty period accurate.
It is. There's no exact time period given, but it's probably
no. The term you're thinking of, Mill, is droit du seigneur, which is the right of first night.
I'm 100% certain it is not. I googled this mid-episode.
Two different terms for basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Droit du seigneur is literally the Lord's right, whereas jus prime noctis is law of the first night. So they both basically mean the same thing.
Yeah.
In terms of legal shit. Whatever, it's still fucked up.
It is.
And regardless, we are getting lost in the weeds and should probably move on at this point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, good show. Enjoying it immensely. Is probably top 3 at this point. Just wish it had come out sooner. But we will move on to Girlfriend Squared.
Yes, Girlfriend, the show where everyone is a fucking dumbass.
The show that doesn't know what fucking polyamory is.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, no, this is my trash show of the season, and I think it would honestly be a lot better if they actually understood what polyamory is, and Saki acknowledged that she is actually bi,
Mm.
because there are many, so many scenes where she basically just gushes about how cute Nagisa is, and doesn't really acknowledge the possible implications that that might have for her sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but a third girl got introduced who also tries to hook up with Naoya, but she's extremely annoying and persistent, which is not a fun combination.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it on stream, but I certainly seen it
Like,
mentioned
I don't.
and definitely cemented my view that, yeah, whoever wrote this doesn't know what the fuck polyamory is. Or really what consent
You're
is.
correct. They definitely do not know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really hard to gauge that. Regardless, the character interactions can be pretty funny, and I do like that at least Saki and Nagisa get along pretty well,
Mm.
even if none of them really understands quite what the nature of their relationship with each other and Naoya is.
Yeah.
Regardless, not much else to say about this one beyond it is dumb and trashy and not particularly well animated, but it has an actually surprisingly catchy OP.
In fairness, it's not a show that necessarily needs much animation quality, but yeah,
I mean, it's always nice to have good animation.
it is always nice to have. I mean, look at Horimiya. That was very nicely animated.
Mm-hmm.
Just a shame that Cloverworks is a shit company.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to I believe the first isekai on the list.
How a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom.
And this show is improving with has been improving with every episode lately, honestly. Like the production values are still not the best, but they're
Mm.
still fairly decent.
Yeah.
But the story has been picking up substantially in the past few episodes. Like they've actually shown the protagonist's inability to see. They've been showcasing how the protagonist, for all his skill and virtue, is not like some sort of flawless, overpowered hero. He's not particularly powerful, and there's a lot of knowledge he just does not have possession of
Yeah.
that really limits his ability to do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like as strong as he is, he cannot command the loyalty of all of his vassals, as seen by the three dukes here. Only one of whom actually decides to follow him, the other two opting to rebel against him.
Oh dear.
Yeah, at the very least, they're somewhat reasonable about it, and they decide to take a winner takes all approach to their respective battles with him,
Mm-hmm.
where it's if the battle is finished and one side is victorious, then the other army will swear allegiance to the winner. But it's still not a great situation to be in to begin with.
No, not really.
And that's on top of their neighboring country preparing to invade them on the pretext of helping either side of the conflict, whichever one they feel works best in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, things are accelerating quite a bit.
Sounds like it.
But no, this is I do like how this series tackles realpolitik and just a much more level l- uh, fantasy series while still having quite a few fantasy elements to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
It's not like some like the protagonist is some superhero flying around slinging massive spells and kicking all sorts of ass.
Mm.
No, he's a normal guy with a modest magical ability, and he's kind of in way over his head. But he's still doing his best.
Yeah.
Still, it'll be interesting to see how they wrap up the season.
How many episodes does this have left?
I believe it has 4 episodes left.
Hmm.
This is a 13 episode series.
Yeah. Should we move on then?
But yeah, this should be yes. Oh, this one's gonna be fun to talk about.
Moving on to the Idaten Deities Only No Peace. I couldn't not use that as a screenshot. I had to use that one.
I don't entirely blame you.
Because I found that moment hilarious.
Like I said, man, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It
This
is funny.
It is
I do
very
feel
funny.
kind of sorry for the kid, but
Mm. I mean, you know what makes me feel worse for the kid? Easily getting in his brain and fucking around in there.
what?
Easily getting in his brain and
To
fucking
be fair,
around.
he is. Yeah. To be fair, all the demons that easily brainwashed did kind of earn it.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just
they are not by any stretch good people.
no. But at the same time, it's a very weird show to watch. Um,
Yeah.
like the only ones that I
Yeah, it is.
really I'm not sort of sure how much I want, or how much I want to, or how much I should like easily, and to a lesser extent Frontier. Uh,
They are pretty clearly shady, but
yeah.
they are all like Idaten in general are pretty amoral by our standards. I
Yes,
don't think like applying human moral compasses to their actions is really appropriate
but
given what they.
the unfortunate thing is we are humans watching this, and so it's slightly hard not to.
That's fair. At least Paula and Hayato have at least some baseline of decent behavior.
No, Paula and Hayato I like. They are, well, Paula is a decent enough person because I assume she hasn't had enough time to become jaded. And Hayato is
I
just
believe she. I believe she's less than 2 decades old.
yeah, and Hayato
She's the
is
youngest he has been.
yeah, and Hayato is just a your general shonen dumbass.
He's fun. But he did do a very nice thing in the most recent episode where he freed a bunch of prisoners from jail.
Mm.
A bunch of prisoners who were being used as effectively sex slaves.
Mm.
So, yeah.
I'm still not overly well. We'll have to see what happens next episode for certainly the next step in the Nun's story. But so far, I'm not especially happy with it, and doesn't feel all that necessary.
Hmm. I mean, I am glad that I caught the bit of foreshadowing in her conversation with Brandy,
Hmm.
which I'm glad it went that direction and not the other possible direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still not great. And I think the nexus for most of the worst parts of the show comes from a certain character we should probably discuss at this point.
Miku.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, she's
Like,
hypersexualized and has no morals. So, yeah, that's a fun combination.
she's kind of she is kind of the most depraved character in the setting.
Yes. Unfortunately, she's
Like,
female,
and it's
so
not even really a contest.
she's female. So the vast majority of anime fans absolutely adore her.
I don't. I think she's awful and disgusting.
I didn't include you in the vast majority, but you know what anime fans are like. I haven't delved that deep into into the
you're not wrong.
Idaten comment sections, but I'm willing to bet the vast majority of people who post there are like, Miku is my waifu. I wish she'd step on me.
Oh God,
Yeah.
sounds awful.
As I said,
There are
I
the
haven't gone.
worst part is that there are like they do try to make some funny scenes around her that could have worked
Mm,
better if she wasn't such an awful person.
yeah.
But like only a couple of those jokes actually land,
Hmm.
and one of them is her just straight up saying, "Oh yeah, you guys are all screwed. I'm fucking off out of here. Bye
Hmm.
bye."
Yeah. I mean, the only
But that
end.
mostly just lands because the other character's reacting to it.
Yeah. At this point, all I want to see is fucking Reen stomping her.
Yeah, well, it's more likely given where she is that Frontea is going to be one to stomp her.
Yeah. Here's the issue, though.
Reen looks like she's going to have a fight with Brandy.
Mm. Here's the thing, though. I'm not sure I trust Pronte to fully go through with the stomping.
Mm. Yeah, there is a possibility that he'll just capture Miku instead of killing her.
Reen and Hayato, they would just outright fucking murder her. Prontea will
Mm-hmm.
probably stomp her a little bit, but yeah.
It's hard to say. He has a clear hidden agenda.
Hmm.
I do appreciate that once they had everything in order, though, the Idaten didn't waste any time invading.
Yeah. They do seem to be trying to only target the demons.
Mm-hmm. Even if Reen accidentally causes a shit ton of collateral by being so fucking overpowered.
Yeah. Though Hayato's getting there in terms of the overpoweredness.
She, she just does not understand. Mm-hmm.
Like,
I do want to say though, I do appreciate that some of the demons they have made an effort to humanize some of the demons at least.
they've definitely made an effort to humanize Brandy. Um,
Brandy has probably gotten the best development, I think.
yeah.
Well, with her sending her kids away.
Mm. Did they actually make it out or not? Did it ever actually get shown if they actually made it out?
I'm pretty sure they did. Well, I'm pretty sure they made it out because she sent them away an episode
Hmm.
before the mass evacuation thing started, and
Yeah.
the demons all tried to hightail it out of there. So,
Hmm.
if any demons escaped, it'd be those ones.
Yeah.
The rest are probably ultra screwed.
Mm. Oh, absolutely. Um, the other thing we've gotten in this latest batch of episodes was the fucking church state.
Oh yeah, good old mega corporate mega church,
Yeah, and again, more
which
sign.
is
Again, just more signs that the Idaten are, to an extent, almost as amoral almost as if not more amoral than the demons.
See, the Idaten don't care too much about human affairs so long as they don't get wiped out.
Yeah.
The demons seem to be a lot more sadistic and cruel on the whole, not necessarily on an individual by individual basis.
Mm.
But yeah, no. It's the scene where Paula just catches a bullet fired at her and says like, and it just is utterly perplexed by them not believing her when she says she's a god,
Yeah.
and then they bow down after that.
It was also
That was funny.
It was also pretty amusing that the reason Pronter is worshipped in that country is because he fixed the previous Idaten's fuck ups.
Yeah, they did a pretty haphazard job constructing that country. Because Reen is a power idiot, a
Yeah.
big musclehead who doesn't really do the smarts.
Well, the thing is, she spent certainly, I can't remember how long of her 800 years training for the eventual return of the demons.
She spent a couple centuries doing
Yeah.
training.
She has a very one-track mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the implication was that the entire point of that country was basically a shelter to make sure if the demons,
Human survives the demon
yeah,
fight.
to make
Yeah.
sure at least some humans survive the demons.
Yeah. I mean, it works.
Yeah, it worked. But yeah, this show is just very hard for me to enjoy at times, and it's frustrating because it has elements that I should really enjoy, but it just
Like when the action sequences pop off, they pop off.
the action sequences are the best part of the show, um, and obviously we'll have there's 4 episodes left because this is an 11 episode series. We've just had episode 7, so 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 4 episodes left. Um, it's clearly setting up, as we've said, some fights. Pronte versus.
It's apparently moving through the source material at a quick clip.
Doesn't surprise me. But yeah, it's setting up some fights. So we've got Pronte versus Miku, Brandy versus Reen, and the Emperor Dude versus Hayato. So hopefully it focuses just on those and can actually end the season with a bang, because I don't especially trust it to handle anything after that particularly well. But we'll just have to see. This is a show that I should like more than I actually do.
Yeah.
Moving on, though, to the Great Jahy will not be defeated.
Now, I will say, as harsh as I was on the first episode, the show has improved substantially since then, due in no small part to the green-haired girl in the screenshot, Druge, who makes just an excellent foil to Jahy and gives her much-needed contrast as a character, and helps contribute to her development quite a bit.
That's good.
Basically, Druge was one of Jahy's lieutenants, and is both fanatically loyal and incredibly masochistic. So anytime Jahy decided to take her anger out on Druge back in their old lives, she just wound up enjoying it. But now on Earth, Druge is massively wealthy while Jahy lives in poverty. And Druge doesn't realize this. Like, she does not realize that Jahy is broke as fuck.
Yeah.
So Jahy is basically trying to maintain the facade, and her scrambling to try to maintain her edge is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see this contrast and how the characters bounce off of each other a lot better. And like I said, Druge is just makes such a huge contribution to improving the show.
Yeah.
I'm honestly liking the show a lot more now.
That's good, at least.
Yeah. I have no idea how the hell they're going to sustain 2 fucking cores of this.
Mm.
This is not a show that really lends itself to long storylines.
Does seem like it'd be an interesting conundrum. It feels like it's a show that
Yeah.
maybe should have had shorter episodes.
Possibly. We shall see. This is the only show I haven't watched the most recent episode of yet because I haven't had the time.
Mm.
But it did take a week off because of fucking sports ball. But
which sports ball in particular?
It was tennis.
Tennis.
Either tennis or golf.
I think it might have been golf, actually.
Ugh. Golf is less of a sport than any other.
I mean, it definitely takes some skill. Can't deny that.
I guess. Anyways, we should move on from talking sports ball to
talk of
I think the first
theater.
sequel on this list.
No, talk of theater.
Oh.
Kageki Shoujo.
Right, Kageki Shoujo.
So, where did we leave off last time?
Last time, I believe we were talking about the episode where we dealt with the girl's bulimia problems.
Yes, and I believe that was the episode that ended with Ando saying that Sarasa would never become a top star. Which I believe was episode 6.
Episode 6, yes.
Yes.
We are on episode 9 now.
Yes. So episode 7, 8, 9. So episode 7 was basically Saras's backstory. How she attended a or was like I'm fairly sure she wasn't an official student, but occasionally did stuff at a kabuki place. And kabuki is very much in comparison to something like Koka, kabuki is very much a copy previous performances thing, which is where Sarasa gained that skill. But Koka wants, whole new performances, not just copying some of the performers' take on the role. Which is interesting because, in a lot of shows, that would be Saras's basically Saras's ability, and it would be, praised to high heaven. But here it's actually a detriment to her.
Yeah, it's a detriment.
We also
it's a skill she has to unlearn and work around.
Yeah. I mean, we also get some good I and Sarasa content. I believe that's the episode where I finally call Sarasa by her first name.
Yep.
After so many episodes of backing out of it hilariously. there's also some confusion about whether Saras's boyfriend is actually her boyfriend, or if he's just a friend who's a boy.
I mean, either would not surprise me.
It would not.
Also, I would not be surprised if I just was either really obsessed with just being good friends with Sarasa, or if she had actually developed a crush on her.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell with Ai because she's not very emotive.
it's hard to tell with anime in general because they could go 90% down the path of it's a crush, and then at the last second go, actually no, they're really good friends.
Mm.
So
I'm going to reserve judgment on that front for now, honestly, here,
yeah,
because there's no telling which way it'll go.
yeah. Um, Episode 8
But
was interesting because we finally got to see the perspective
Haru.
of the Claudine XP.
He's really an interesting character.
She is an interesting character, and it's again an element of the show not necessarily subverting expectations, but just going a different route with them, because it would have been very easy to have Kaoru be the be the type of character the her friend who is a boy's was, feeling like he's being forced into a path because of a famous relative. But no, Kaoru actually wants to be an actor in the Koka troupe
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't understand why people think that she's being forced to do so. Um, and it was a really nice episode in the end, especially with the ending of the boy putting the notes up in the bus stop. Little convenient that
Yeah,
it
that
went
was.
little convenient that it went viral, but hey, I'll accept it. And then episode 9, which again was today, hard to get through, frankly, because it dealt with the twins. Um,
Yep. I think so far we've had a focus episode on every one of the main casts except for
except for the
the class
president.
rep
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Um, and it's another episode that's indicative of something that I really like that Kageki Shoujo does, which is that it sets up things in episodes and then doesn't resolve them that same episode. Um, because the eating disorder girl was set up in, I think, episode 3, and then it only paid off in episode 5.
And her subplot didn't even partially. Mm-hmm.
They set up the whole thing with the
And twin subplot gets foreshadowed in episode 7.
6.
Oh, 6.
Because 6 was the one where
Right,
they
six.
six was the one where they did the performance, where, let me try and get the names. Chika, who was the one without the sticky up bits of hair, chose not to be Juliet, while Chiaki did. I think I've gotten the names right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chiaki is the one with the little mini side tails,
Yeah.
and Chika is the one without them.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned a lot more about them in the most recent episode.
Yeah.
With
Well,
it just delves heavily into their relationship, honestly,
Mm.
and it's really neat to explore that.
and it's not anything like new. The whole tension between twins being accept being expect being expected to be the same, but actually not. but it's always interesting to me. Just twins in general I find are really, really interesting to examine from a character perspective, and it's no different in Kageki Shoujo. And it was, as I said, it was uncomfortable to watch because Chiaki got on really well, or talked to a to basically they were called the superiors, but they are I think they are just retired Koga actresses.
Probably some along those lines.
And Chiaki has a nice conversation with one of them who was basically the twins' hero at one point. And then that same actress sees Chika, calls out to her as I think the girl who performed as Juliet, and Chika blanks her because hey, she didn't play Juliet, and she's jealous of Chiaki, but also frustrated at herself, I think.
Yep.
But hey, this actress doesn't know that there are twins, and so she takes Chiaki to task for it.
But fortunately, Sarasa intervenes to clear up the misunderstanding.
Again, that's just pure Sarasa, and it's so great. It's another thing that you might not expect in a different show, but it resolves it. It to an extent resolves that tension, but it also heightens it because Chiaki knows what's happened this time. But yeah, the other thing that's happening is, as we said, the school festival is happening, and Sarasa is going to be drafted into a race. I assume because she has very long legs. We do get to meet the frankly incredibly petty top stars of petty and competitive top stars of the Koga troops, who are clearly going to be competing against each other in some way, and they all basically draft in draft in ringers to help them win. All the while the main cast is watching and going, I didn't expect them to be this petty on this subject, but it's great. I love this show.
It's a wonderful show.
If I had to pick a top three at this point, Kageki Shoujo would be second.
Yeah, same. Really hard to go wrong with it.
We also get
moving on. To...
just one.
Oh, sorry.
Well, two last things. So I don't think I mentioned this last time, but while we are talking about the twins, it is very interesting to note that they are voiced by actual twins.
That is nice.
Risei and Satsumi Matsuda, which is pretty cool. The second thing is, I'm not sure if this got mentioned prior to this episode, but Ando was the one who pushed for Sarasa to be accepted to the academy. Which is an interesting thing, especially given, Ando was the one who said that she couldn't become top star as she was.
Yeah.
But yes, moving on to Magia Record Season 2.
Holy fucking shit, the Sakuga in this show is just off the fucking wall. Like, you saw those sequences I sent you, right?
Yes, I did. If the show had looked like this in the first season, I might have kept watching. I might have been tempted to keep watching, but, Jesus, some of those shots were are absolutely superb. I mean, we are for the awards for the awards section of the wrap up. We are currently planning on doing gifts for best OPED and fight. I am willing to bet that Magia Record is going to be one of Jack's picks at this point, so you'll get to see that as well.
Oh yeah. Best fight maybe. I don't know if we'll do a best animation or not. Kind of hard to nominate for that.
Mm. But yeah, no, the Sakuga has been insane.
Yeah, no, this show is just popping off with the Sakuga, and the story has been doing a really good job too with all the
Mm.
characters and giving them time to grow and shine.
Yeah.
Like it's done a good job of integrating the Madoka cast, OG Madoka cast into the spin-off too,
Hmm.
by not having them overshadow the main cast in any way, but still having them contribute to the plot in in an interesting manner.
Yeah.
But like the main cast of the show itself have also been getting some really good development,
Hmm.
and it's just been so interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Not to mention just like all the batshit insane imagery that's come up here and there with all
Mm.
the witches and labyrinths and shit.
Yeah.
Like, damn, this is really, really good.
Mm.
And one of the best uh season two improvements I've ever seen in the series.
Mm. I forget, was this delayed by a season?
Yeah, like this was originally planned for winter of this year,
Okay, so 2 seasons.
but they bumped it back a couple seasons, then split it in half. They bumped it back a couple seasons, then split it in half into season two and three.
Ah,
I think
okay.
both of them are shorter. Don't know how many episodes season three is planned for, but season two is only 8 episodes.
I mean, I'm just
So
thinking
they
that
just
that
focused all their time and budget into these 8 episodes,
yeah.
and it fucking shows.
Well, that's what I was basically thinking. It's been delayed, so they've had more time to work on it, and they've only got, certainly for this part, only got 8 episodes to focus on. So they clearly have, have had more time, and they've made it count. Um, which, hey, maybe a certain studio that starts with C could learn from this. Maybe
But
take
yeah,
on
no,
take on board that a rushed anime with you know too many episodes is gonna turn out bad. I'm still not over the mess that was Cloverworks in winter.
neither am I, man. Neither am I. But yeah, no, Magia Record's really good. Though I will always recommend watching the original Madoka first
Mm-hmm.
because watching Magia Record first spoils some of the plot twists from Madoka. But regardless, this is a very good show, and it has improved drastically in its second season.
Mm.
My God.
Moving
Moving on
on,
to another show with a second season out right now.
Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
This show has just been such a delight for the most part. Like there are a few segments here and there that I'm not a big fan of, but overall the show is really fun and surprisingly heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, a sequence from the most recent episode has Toru just coming to grips with the fact that she will almost certainly outlive Kobayashi by an order of centuries, and just
Mm.
like not knowing what to do about that.
Yeah.
Like she kind of freaks out when Kobayashi comes down with a fairly bad cold and is bedridden for the day, and she's just like, he doesn't know how to react beyond
Mm.
just trying to take care of her and then searching for some kind of medicine to help her out.
Yeah.
But I do love the relationship between these two because not really the kind of relationship you see in a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I love their whole found family unit as well. It's just a really nice thing.
Yeah.
I do also appreciate that the past few episodes have had segments focused on some of the other dragon characters. Elma in particular is probably my favorite, and I very much enjoyed seeing her get some spotlight time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else? There's not much else I can say about it beyond like watch Dragon Maid. It's a very good show. Like if you enjoy the first season, you'll probably enjoy the second season, even if it isn't quite the same.
Mm. And again, we've said this in every previous summer stream, but it's just so nice that KyoAni has gotten back on their feet, even just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good place to start for them. That's for sure.
Yeah. Moving on then to My Villain Academia.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't actually gotten to My Villain Academia yet because the dub took a break. So I'm 2 episodes behind now. But obviously I've read the manga, so I know what's going to happen. Y'all aren't ready for this.
So far they have just uh yeah, no, you're not.
I
The most
believe
recent episode was Toga's episode.
yes, I believe today's episode was Toga's episode.
That was today's episode.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest. Like Toga
And
is
that
one of
one
my
was a fun one.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Toga is one of my least favorite characters, mostly because I don't get why people are so obsessed with her. But certainly, I'm looking forward to what's gonna come. It's gonna be bad. It is going to push the boundaries of what My Hero can put on TV.
Oh yeah.
Poor
Things are
baby
gonna get fucking
Shigaraki.
wild.
Poor baby Shigaraki.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see a lot but you only got little scattered tiny hints of flashback so far, but you're not ready for the full length deal, yo.
No, nobody was ready
Oh
for it.
boy.
Nobody
But
was
yeah,
ready for it.
let's keep it at that because
Yeah.
no.
Um.
No.
So I'm just trying to
Moving
think.
on.
Well, I'm just trying to think if I've got anything else to say, just from what I've watched in the dub. I mean, just that the whole Endeavor Redemption thing is still a little hard to really enjoy.
It's hard, but I think it's handled fairly well for what it is.
I mean, it's better to an extent than some other shows have handled redemptions of bad people, especially other shonens, because it actually, emphasizes that this character needs to redeem themselves and atone for themselves. But at the same time, hasn't ever faced that many consequences for what he's done.
Not thus far in the anime.
No. But, it is what it is. At least My Hero
I do appreciate that he does recognize at least that his family cannot heal with him there.
No, I am appreciative of the fact that my hero recognizes that Endeavor is wrong. He was a bad person, and that he needs to make it right.
Hmm.
Because as I
I also
said,
appreciate that.
because as I
I
said,
also appreciate that he's not seeking forgiveness. He's just trying to atone,
mm,
and he doesn't. Him receiving forgiveness is not what he's aiming for.
mm.
Like, yeah.
Also,
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
no, it's fine. Also, a good uh, a good indication of Bakugo's development. He goes to save Natsuo rather than going after the villain.
Hmm.
Um, the Bakugo in season 1, probably 2, most likely 3, um, would have shot straight towards the villain,
Hmm.
and not bothered with Natsuo. So it is nice to see that development progressing. Um, I mean, I think what's the saddest part about this season for me is that Izuku just gets much less of a focus in the arcs this season is covering. Because obviously in the joint training arc, it was the focus was on all of the classes. The Endeavor agency arc was mostly focused on Endeavor and the Todoroki family drama. Oh, that reminds me. I said this when it happened when I read it in the manga as well, but I do find it amusing that that Shoto let me tell you about my tragic backstory in our second conversation. Todoroki thought that his dead brother wasn't a good conversation starter. I
Yeah.
completely understand why it. I totally understand why, but it just tickles me that Todoroki, who in his second conversation with the Suku, goes on, tells him about his abusive father, but when asked why he hasn't told his friends about his dead brother, it's like, that's not a good conversation starter. It's like, you think your dad is? Oh,
Yeah.
as I said, just stuff that amuses me. So yeah, so the Endeavor agency arc obviously focuses on Endeavor and the Todoroki family drama, and now My Villain Academia is going to focus on the League of Villains, and it just, as somebody whose favorite character is Izuku, it's just a little sad. Um,
Yeah.
oh, we
At the
also
same time, though, this is only going to be 6 episodes.
again, again, the issue is that this is the entire season. Season 5 has very much had a lesser focus on Izuku. It would be easier if it was half focus on Izuku and half focus on something else, but that's just the way it panned out. As I said, it's not. I'm not angry and hating the season for it. It's just slightly disappointing for me as a big Izuku fan. The other thing I haven't mentioned is the Kurogiri stuff.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Wonderful
It
performance.
unfortunately does come a bit out of nowhere, but the performances help sell it a lot.
The performances are superb. So let me. I don't know who Mike's sub VA is, but I know Aizawa is voiced by Junichi Sawabe in the sub. In
Fantastic voice actor.
fantastic voice actor, absolutely adore Junichi Sawabe. He is superb in everything I've heard him in. especially in good old Taiwanese puppets. In the dub, Aizawa is voiced by, I believe, Christopher Vacamp, and present Mike, he was initially voiced by Sonny Strait, but I don't think he's voiced by him anymore, so Yamada Hisashi, he is now voiced by, come on, Dave Trosco, I believe, is VA now, and again, both of them put in excellent performances. If you're interested in seeing the exact story of the three of UA's Domigos, which was a hilarious line in a very sad scene, read the Vigilantes manga, which goes into it in more detail. It has a whole arc that is just Aizawa's backstory. But yes, so moving on to my next life as the Villainess, aka Bakarina, Season 2.
AKA the fourth sequel on this list in a row.
Yeah. I went for this line because it basically sums up Bakarina as a whole. Especially the main character.
Sorry, I didn't catch half of that. You're cutting out a bit on the audio.
I know. The fucking internet is not doing great. Thankfully, it's continuing to stream, I believe. But what I was saying is, I picked this screenshot because I believe the subtitle basically, or the speech basically, sums up Katarina as a whole.
Yep. I mean, she doesn't think much about things anyways, so. But yeah, most recent episode started off at a potential interesting character arc. Or story arc, rather.
Well,
after we had a few episodes focused on the supporting cast.
Trying to remember where we left off last time out. I
think it was episode 6.
Episode 5, I think. Oh no, it was episode 6. It was episode 6. So we had the Dollhouse episode, which was weird. Poor Ann.
Then we had
poor Ann, who had to go through all of those fucking dreams.
Next episode was the Nicole focused episode, which was a very good one, honestly.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. And most recent episode was the start of a story arc, which don't know how long it will be, but since it's literally called Part 1, it's going to be at least 2 episodes long, if not more.
I can't see them stretching it more than 2 episodes.
That's fair.
I can't see them stretching it past next week, just because of the fact that they have the teddy bear, which keeps like sending dirty looks at Katarina.
Yeah, that is funny. We don't even get an explanation for why it dislikes Katarina.
So I can't. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know why the fuck they were going around asking people if they've seen Keith when they apparently have a magic item that can lead them right to him.
I don't know, maybe they thought it would lead them to the general area and they didn't realize it would actually be more specific than they thought.
I don't know. I mean, the explanation that
guess.
The explanation that Lana, who if I'm remembering correctly, is Jeffrey's fiance.
You are correct.
In disguise, yeah. Um, like, I'm fairly sure she says it leads you right to them. Um, so it just seemed weird to me.
Hmm.
Um,
But that's a minor nitpick compared to all the other interesting stuff that's happened these past few episodes.
I mean, Nicole
I, I,
is
I
Nicole is
especially
very much a character that needed focus because, frankly, most of the love interests are still fairly shallow, and the second season has done a lot to try and fix that. Um,
yeah.
so it was good
The
getting.
Dollhouse episode,
I mean, the Dollhouse episode was just weird.
it was, but it gave us some insight into some of the characters at least.
Mm,
Like, it's kind of telling that Mary's fantasy had her as a man in order
yeah.
to sweep Katerina off her feet,
Mm.
which says a lot about how she her ability to do that in the current state of the society as it is.
Meanwhile, Maria just imagines herself as super buff.
Which I do think is kind of hilarious.
Oh no, it's absolutely hilarious, and just the reaction to it of okay, closed door.
I mean, that would be a lot of people's reaction to a lot of these fantasies.
I mean,
Keith's gender flip fantasy was also strange.
that boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. Like,
He needs to see a therapist for his issues.
we already knew that considering he wants to get with his admittedly stepsister, but still pretty weird. Um,
Yeah.
I think are they cousins?
If they are, they're very distant cousins. It's not stated that there are any. Like, I believe he's stated to be the son of a distant relative of Katerina's father. So they're distant cousins, probably.
I'm just gonna check that because I'm not sure what their relation is. I don't know how weird it is. I'd like to know before entirely shitting on Keith.
But yeah, all the different fantasies are kind of interesting and pretty telling of the characters.
Hmm.
I do like that Alan and Nicole just imagine themselves as animal companions to Katerina, just so that they could be close to her.
Okay, I don't think they do. I don't think they have any relation.
Yeah, like I said, if they have a relation, it's very distant.
By the looks of things, he was just adopted into the family because of his strong magic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, he's kind of my least favorite character just because he and Jodo just continually snipe at each other. Um, so I can't say I'm too over eager for
Yeah,
this arc. He is also the weirdest love interest because of the aforementioned, sibling relationship. Even
step sibling thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
but Bakarina has been decent enough. Still not my favorite show ever, but it's relatively enjoyable.
yep, it's a fun time. But moving on to that other CG show that you're watching that I haven't touched.
Nighthead 2041. We finally gotten an explanation of what the fuck is going on. So basically, in 2023, 2/3 of the world's population got transferred to a different dimension's Earth. Those 2/3 were the ones who believed in anything spiritual. The third that had left, obviously, are not spiritual at all. While this happened, there was also, I believe, a 3-month time skip. As for why Naoto and Naoya are still young, they actually dimension traveled themselves in when was it? In 2014, and then got brought back to sort of a created world in 2023, where they grew up, and then got released in 2041, I think. Yes. I'm not sure. It's still not that clear. But the reason they were brought back from wherever they traveled to was they apparently have a role in basically bringing anyone who's sort of like salvageable from the hate psychic world to the fine with psychics world. Though there is still an element of confusion about how they are involved in Takuya and Yuya's backstory, because we get the flashback to Takuya and Yuya's childhood, where the exact same thing that happened to Naoto and Naoya happened, where they got drugged by their parents, but then suddenly Naoto and Naoya appeared and killed the parents, which is confusing.
This show sounds like an utter clusterfuck.
It kind of is. This is gonna live and die on its ending. If it can manage to pull itself together for the ending, it will be a genius show. If it doesn't, then it's gonna be less good. But it's still on the edge of interesting at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm still pretty convinced that Baldy is gonna go mad and try and kill everyone at some point. Thanks to his clear inferiority issues. So we will see about that. Yeah, it's sort of confusing what's going on. What episodes did I cover last time? Let's have a look at Crunchyroll. Oh, that's right. Naoto and Naoya were also shanghaied into a terrorist attack, which was fun. Which didn't work because the terrorist got betrayed. How it led to a really cool fight scene between Naoto and Takuya. I think I'm remembering the right brothers' names. Let me check. I believe Naoto is the one voiced by Daisuke Ono. Yes, Naoto and Takuya, which was a really cool scene. Again, they're doing really good stuff with the CG. It is really good CG, frankly. It's really enjoyable CG. But yeah, if this doesn't manage to pull its plot threads together, it's going to be bad. But fingers crossed it will manage to do that. Moving on to a show that I don't believe will be able to pull its plot threads together, at least not in its current form, Peach Boy Riverside.
Why did they fucking change the order of the episodes? God damn it.
Whose most recent episode is actually episode 11. The episode before that was episode 12. The episode before that was episode 10, and the episode before that was episode 4.
So, actually, episode 12 is the most recent episode, even though that's...
Oh, no, that's next week. That's next week. My bad. Next week is episode 11.
Yeah, no, next... Yeah. And so they did 10, 12, 11, which makes no fucking sense.
Well,
I actually haven't watched the most recently released episode because I have not had the time.
It makes no sense that episode 12 is episode 9. If you're going to do this, at least have episode 12 be at the end. Because what you're doing is you're setting up, like, series cliffhangers or a series ending, and then you're having 3 more episodes. It makes no sense.
The show is trying the Pulp Fiction gimmick of shuffling around the events of the timeline, and it's not working here.
No, it's really not.
Because this isn't Pulp Fiction.
Well, I assume Pulp Fiction had a plan behind its fucking shuffling around.
Yeah,
this doesn't seem to have one.
Works better with the themes of Pulp Fiction, since it is sort of more anthological in nature than like purely sequential.
Mm-hmm.
This is supposed to be a pretty fucking linear story.
Yeah. But hey, give it another 3 weeks and I'll be able to watch it in the order it's supposed to be watched, and I'll be able to report back on that.
Yeah. Oh boy. So the only episodes left, I believe, are episodes
11, 5, and 6.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways, let's move on to something that's less confusing and frustrating.
Remake.
Unless Remake is also confusing and frustrating. I don't know. I am not watching it.
No, it's hilarious. They're all dumbasses.
Well, that's nice.
So, first things first, Remake took a break. I can't remember why. It might have been Olympic stuff. Can't remember.
Probably.
Either way, they took a break last week. So I can't remember if I mentioned this last time out, but the most recent episode at that point talked about I don't remember his name because he's not one of the characters I actually really like. Actually discuss it or examines Eitaro, who is the kid who was Minato's teammate in middle school and joined the same high school to play on the same team as him. As it turns out, they weren't actually friends, and he basically took advantage of Minato's memory problems to make him think that they were. Kind of a dick move, frankly. He also is not very good at water polo, by the sounds of things. I'm not sure if he's actually any good. I'm just gonna ignore him. He is what he is. Let me remember my episodes for just a second. Because was there an episode between the one I was just talking about and the one I want to talk about that I need to cover first? I don't think there is. No, I don't believe so. So episode 6 focused on Ushimado, who is the soft-spoken kid whose only previous club was calligraphy. As it turns out, he only joined the team initially only joined the team as a joke, because some of his classmates said it would be funny if they did, and he wanted to be liked by his classmates, but then he realized that, hey, the members of the water polo club are far better friends than those jackasses will ever be. So that's nice. That said, yeah, I'll go with a content warning on this one. So I'll give it a few seconds until about 45 on my counter for anyone who might not want discussion of suicide.
Oh joy.
Yeah. So clearly in middle school, Ushi was depressed basically because he had no friends, and told Baba Yaro that at times he did wonder if anyone would miss him if he was gone, and then he disappeared after having said that he was like really upset that he was holding everyone back because he wasn't playing well, as well as leaving a note on the whiteboard saying "I'm sorry." So that sends all of them into a fucking panic, especially when Minato does manage to find Ushi. And how to describe this? Well, what he's actually doing is putting up laundry to dry, but he was like, I think, up on a table to do it, and had like the clothesline in his hand, which was not good imagery for somebody who was worried he was.
Oh, that is not a good look.
Yeah, like seeing it, because they flashed between him doing this and the others looking for him, and I was like, wait, are they actually gonna fucking do this? Okay, this is bold. And then it actually said what was actually happening. I was like, well, they played me like a fucking fiddle. Oh god. But yeah, no, it ended up being really nice because, yeah, as I said, Ushi realized that the members of the clubs were, his friends and actually really liked him, so that was a nice ending. And then today's episode was all about getting them to work as a team. We actually got the captain's backstory, which is that it's actually kind of sad. I shouldn't laugh, but it is sad. So his dad went to the same school and was captain of the water polo team. Then his mom died, and his dad had to work longer hours at a job. And the captain felt bad when his dad got home that he would have to basically go straight into cooking, having been working so long. So he started eating a cup noodle before his dad came home. Unfortunately, they didn't communicate, and so his dad just felt like he hated his cooking, and they stopped talking to each other, and now things are very, very bad. To the point where literally, like, they just leave the room whenever the other enters. It's very sad, frankly, even if, the captain tries to put a nice spin on it. But also, they got new jerseys, or they got tracksuits. Unfortunately, they planned on putting a phrase on the jackets to represent their team. They chose change, which in Japanese is, I believe, henka. Unfortunately, and they were getting Ushi as the calligraphy expert to write it out really nicely. Unfortunately, the captain didn't realize that the sail he wanted to use was actually up in half an hour, so he grabbed the two pieces of paper with the two kanji on them and ran out. and then one of them fell out. And instead of just going, okay, then we won't have the characters on there, he still like submitted the one character that they did have, which is Hen, which is Strange. So instead of having change on their tracksuits, they have Strange on it. What's even worse is that on the back of their jerseys, you know how sports clubs usually have the name of their school and the name of their sport and then club.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, this fucking idiot had them write, what was it, Yamanami or something like that, Water Ball Club, when they play water polo.
God damn it.
These fucking idiots. These complete and utter fucking idiots. They are also got a... I might have mentioned this last time, but they've got a prefectural tournament coming up where they'll play the two other teams in their prefecture, which is the team Minato's old friends go to, and is like the best in the country, and then the school that backed out from playing a practice match against them and instead made them get crushed by grade schoolers. Which is going to be...
sounds like a fun time.
It is going to be a fun time. It is going to be a very fun time. Another funny thing was... So Minato came back... Well, earlier in the episode, Minato was trying to come up with his suggestion for what should be on the jackets, and basically blew off his sister, who was wanting to talk to him about something. He comes home having gotten the jackets with Strange on them. And his sister is pissed at him because she wanted to discuss what haircut she should get, and she was unhappy at the Strange haircut that she got. And so Minato goes something like, well, it's fine, because being strange is not bad. Based on what he talked about with his team about the jackets. And she goes, that's not what I wanted you to say. I don't like this being strange. You have to tell me that it's the best haircut in the world. And just like, okay, it's the best haircut in the world. Thank you. It's just, really nice sibling dynamic there. Unfortunately, the most recent episode did end with Minato seeing a video of his past self being a complete jerk, which I'm sure is going to result in some angst.
Yes, angst. The fun stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy Remake. It's great. I love it. Moving on to Remake Our Lives.
So, I gave you this most recent episode, and the most recent episode had a fuck ton of plot twists happening that I don't want to spoil by elaborating upon. So I will just focus on the stuff beforehand. But hoo boy. Latest episode took a fucking turn. Is all I will say. But no, like the most recent arc focused on the gang trying to create a doujin game, basically like a short visual novel.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the love corner, as you like to call it, started to come to a head at this point, and the main character is like, I really don't want to deal with this right now. This is a very stressful time, and I don't feel super strongly for either of these girls over the other, and if I try to pick one or turn both of them down, this will go badly. So his other female friend basically says, yeah, no, don't do that. That will end disastrously if you try to resolve this now. You are in the middle of a huge project. Do not do anything. But yeah, he basically has to tough out all this tension while they're working on this huge project that might be career defining.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to try my best to be as oblivious as possible so I don't fuck things up.
Wow.
But just to
Intentional
show that,
obliviousness. It's not a common tactic.
yeah. Well, there's also just the factor of like, I appreciate that this is tackling the idea of, hey, personal drama can interfere with your work if it's between coworkers
Very
working
much
on a
so.
project,
Very much so, yeah.
especially good old romantic tension and rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and this whole arc is predicated on uh, getting saving up enough money for Suriyuki, the other guy in the image, to be able to pay his tuition after he cut ties with his family. Unfortunately, his fiance decides to visit and, amongst other things, put the moves on him. And when she finally gets the hint that now is not a good time and leaves, she actually shows surprising amount of depth and nuance when she talks to Kyoya, the main character,
Mm-hmm.
for leaving,
Yeah.
about how he's been trying his hardest to help out Tsuruyuki. But the show is just really good, and while I did have complaints, the vast majority of them were answered by the latest episode, which just flipped the fucking table on me. I'm going to just be incredibly vague about it because I don't want to spoil it.
Appreciated. I might be able to get to it at some point. Probably not by the wrap up, but certainly at some point.
Yeah.
So I add it to my catch up list. I might not have done yet.
Well, moving on to a show that both of us are watching that is super fucking weird.
I mean, well, let's just get to it. It is Sonny Boy. I don't know what's
This
going
is
on.
trippy as fuck. I
I'm
think they've started to delve into like multiversal shenaniganry at this point.
I'm so confused. I don't know what's happening.
To the fucking club, man.
So we
Like
got
literally the only things I know happened in the latest episode were most of the students piecing out, Rajdhani deciding to go walking the earth, and the main quartet of humans plus Kendra Suda voicing a dog
boo.
uh, staying on the island.
Okay,
I do love Rajdhani though. He is such a fun character.
Rajdhani's great, and I'm sad he's going to be gone. Um, mostly
He'll probably
because
be back at some point.
mostly because he's also like the only one who can explain this shit.
Oh yeah, no. This is some high concept shit.
Okay, so first things first, I'm trying to remember exactly where we left off, and I believe it was the introduction of Aki Sensei.
Yes.
So her first act,
And you were right that she gave off bad vibes.
her first act was basically to create a cult around Asakaze that then hounded Nagara into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, exactly what this cult is about, I don't know. Apparently, Asakaze's power can save them? Question mark. So there basically seems to be, or was at that point, three groups. You had the Asakaze cult. You had Hoshi's fucking group of Hoshi's other cult. Uh, I can't really call them not a cult when they were basing their thing on being a savior, and God and all that. And then you have basically the other protagonist, Nagara, Nozomi, Rajdhani, and Catgirl. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name very well.
Trying to remember her name. I remember her name, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Mizuho, that was it.
Mizuho, right? I
Yeah,
knew it began with an M.
yeah. So the third group is Mizuho, Nagara, Nozomi, Rajdani, and Yamabiko the dog, who basically are trying to figure shit out. Actually trying to figure stuff out instead of, um,
Causing problems.
instead of being a cult. Instead of being a
Yes.
fucking cult. That's what they're doing. It comes to a head when, in episode 6, which was very much a wham episode, because you've got the Asakaze cult attacking, I think? You've got the Hoshi cult fucking setting off in a cube that they liken to an arc. And then you've got the fact that Rajdani and Nagara have found a theatre room, like a cinema room, where they can change the world that they are in, as long as they have film. Like, they're using editing software to change it, and they think that's how they're going to get themselves home. And they do manage to get everyone home, except not really, because they end up being ghosts, which is explained
And
as...
it turns out...
The principal of the school is God, who is
And God is the main antagonist of the show.
Well, God is basically using this fucking random middle school as a playground to get his shits and giggles. So
this show has basically gone full JRPG.
So basically, what happened is that the people, the classes or the class members that we know are actually probabilities, like it's a sort of a parallel universe thing, I think.
Like, to use an example from a recent piece of media, they're kind of like the variants from the Loki TV series.
Yeah, because there are versions of the characters actually still in the, in inverted commas, real world, except for Nozomi, who apparently committed suicide, which, messes with her fucking head, understandably.
Poor girl.
And the protagonist and the people that we know were the ones that weren't chosen to continue in the real world, in inverted commas. Because I don't know if that's actually the real world. But apparently they still had a chance to get back, and basically it was just God rolling the dice that they didn't. I'm confused. And then in the most recent episode, Nagara got kidnapped by a dude in an umbrella, and another dude who was wearing, I think, what was it, a sock or a mannequin's leg or something like that, or a stocking on his head.
I think it was a mannequin's leg in a sock.
Yeah. And apparently there are like tons and tons and tons of these middle school students who just exist in these worlds.
Aren't they?
No, it's middle school. It's middle school.
Oh shit. They're third-year middle schoolers, right?
Yeah, they're third-year middle schoolers. I'm almost certain of that. And Nagara gets kidnapped into this world where basically you have to take blocks from the top of the tower to the bottom, and it's hellscape. Not just because of that, but also for Nagara, because, as I said, they're blaming him for everything for some reason. It's very confusing. I've said this, I'm not sure if I've said this on stream, but I'll say it now. I'm not intelligent enough to understand the show. I think of myself as a relatively intelligent person, but I'm not smart enough for this show. I'm just not.
It's insane.
It is so high concept. It is so high concept. I don't understand what's going on. I'm basically just relying on the ANN reviews.
Yeah, no, those are important supplemental material at this point, because they help clarify things at least a tiny bit.
Because I think in the most recent one it explains that it was like to do with Albert Camus's The Myth of Sisyphus, I think. I mean, I certainly don't fucking understand it. Also, the fact that we see a kid get fucking eaten, but then he's also okay.
Wait, I don't recall seeing him again after he gets
No,
eaten.
we do see him again.
Huh.
Nagara actually says to Mannequin Leg Dude, like something like say goodbye or say thank you to Futatsuboshi, and then it shows a shot of him still working. I don't know if that was meant to be a present day thing or a fucking like flashback or what, but like he definitely was there. Uh, I don't know
The show
what
is just so fucking confusing.
I don't know what this
It's
show is
good, but
doing.
it's confusing.
I mean, yeah, I enjoy it, and it's probably going to be relatively high up in my fucking season rankings just for the sheer ambition of this show, but it's not going to be near the top
Oh
because I
yeah,
don't
same.
understand it. I don't know what it's on about. It's also got a very strange relationship with time because it's mentioned in fucking episode 6, the Wham episode, that they've been here for about 8 months.
But there are also people who came after them to the middle school who have been there for
Well, yeah,
thousands
because
of years.
Yamabika is a first year and has been there for thousands of years and is now a dog for some reason.
Just
I I'm confused.
let's move on to a show that's a lot more straightforward, then, shall we?
Spirit Chronicles. I nearly accidentally skipped it for slime, but that is coming up.
Spirit Chronicles, in which it turns out that the protagonist is actually related to royalty, but on his mother's side for a change.
I mean, in most places, that's kind of a useless relation to have because nobody cares about the mother's side.
Well, those places are wrong and stupid.
Yes, they are.
But anyways, yeah, no, it turns out that his mother was the princess to a Japan-style kingdom in this fantasy world, and he eventually goes to visit that place and discovers his heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and that his father was his mom's bodyguard. They did the whole fall in love thing, but because of an incident with a jackass prince from another country, they had to flee in order to be together, and thus they had the protagonist. But yeah, him going to his home country is interesting because it's actually develops him a little bit as a character and gives us some a look at kind of like a different style of country than we normally see in fantasy anime, which are um not universally like Western or Eastern European style high fantasy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or this having a Japan analog is nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they had a bit more variety, but it's still nice to have some variety as opposed to the what's the word for what's the word for it?
Well, the opposite of variety.
Yes. I'll think of it later.
Uniformity.
Regardless, uniformity. That's it. But yeah, this is probably the weakest of the three isekais I'm watching. The three new ones, anyways.
Yeah.
But still not a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's going pretty breakneck through its source material, but to try to get 4 or 5 volumes into one core, which not ideal, but it's
I
still
mean, it's
reasonably paced.
how. Yeah, I mean,
So it's
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is the pacing of the show suffering because of that? Because
not substantially, but it is noticeable.
okay.
It's not absurdly bad by any stretch, but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's still not a terrible show, but of the three isekais I'm watching right now, the weakest, almost certainly.
Moving on to the show that continues to blue ball me. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Season 2, Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo. Hey, on the plus side, you're finally getting your action.
I am finally getting my action. I'm annoyed that I'm disappointed because of it, about it, because of the fucking outfit. Slime can't win, and it's upsetting to me. I mean, some really, really good action.
We also get some focus on the side characters.
I mean, it was a very. I did really enjoy the whole thing with the Milam faithful and the bald dude. He seems cool. And also the whole. I'll tell you what this arc has done. It's actually made me enjoy Gabiru.
Wow, I never thought that would happen.
I've actually not been annoyed by Gabiru or his fucking sycophants the last couple of episodes. Mostly because he's actually being competent. I put a high price on competency. And sort of the main issue with Gabiru and Shion is that they are not actually competent at their jobs. But Gabiru is changing that perception of him. Which led... It was a really funny scene with fucking Benimaru and the bald dude going, I wonder who's stronger, maybe we should test it out. And everyone else just getting in between going, no, please don't, please no. This is such a bad idea. This arc has also helped me remember most of what I've forgotten from the Charybdis arc, such as the fact that Phobio was the one being possessed by Charybdis. Because I forgot that completely. I thought Charybdis just fucking appeared.
No, the clown posse tricked him into being absorbed by Charybdis.
Yeah. So, good on Slime for reminding me about that. Because I'd completely forgotten in my dislike of the arc. Sort of a shame that he and Geld got kind of curb-stomped by the clowns.
I mean, they are apparently roughly equals with Playman, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
Though I did like the inference that if Phobio hadn't have been there, Geld would have beaten them. Or at least putting up a good fight.
Well, there's also the inverse implication, outright statement that if Geld wasn't there, Phobio would be dead.
Oh no, Phobio would have been stomped into the ground. But I feel like...
Geld is strong, but I don't think he's strong enough to handle both of them at once.
Maybe not both of them, but certainly the big one. Because I feel like something got said either by Phobio, Geld, or Benimaru that was like, it's a shame that you weren't able to get a proper shot at them.
Regardless, it was interesting, and I also appreciate that Yamza, for all his bluster, just gets utterly wrecked by both Albus and Gobta.
Yeah.
Or at least is clearly outclassed by each of them.
I did quite like that of Gobta, you know, thinking that he was only just surviving when actually, you know, if he'd actually believed he could do it, he probably would have beaten Yamza.
Yeah, Yamza's a bit more of a chump than he actually thought he was.
Yeah. No, Gobta's actually really strong.
Yeah.
So that was nice, but as I said, what I want now. I just need that Demon Lord outfit for Rimuru. I need it.
Hmm. I mean, you're probably going to get it either at the tail end of the next episode or at the beginning of the one after.
Actually, no. I should specify in what capacity I want it, because we obviously did get a glimpse of it while Rimuru was, while Shuna was making it for Rimuru.
Hmm.
I want it in the capacity of how it is in like the fucking OP, where like Shion, and Ranga, walking menacingly towards something.
Speaking of the LP, we should mention that it got an update.
It did change, and for the better, frankly, because it was really cool
Yeah.
getting to see the flashes through of all the retainers, and then the fight scenes for Soe and Shion definitely got better.
Hmm. I also um, I also am really happy that we're going to get to see Shuna and Soe in action in the next episode.
Hmm.
That's gonna be
I mean, my assumption certainly is that Shuna is either whatchamacallit, immune to like mind control, or will be able to fix it if it happens to Soe and Hakuro.
I mean, that's all but outright stated to be the case.
I mean, it would be crazy for her to go along if it wasn't the case.
Hmm.
Absolutely insane. Um, but yeah, like
But
I,
yeah, no, she's a pretty skilled mage by all indications.
yeah. I mean, let me try and remember. She was certainly doing something when Rimuru first met the ogres, wasn't she? What was it exactly she was doing? Um,
I don't remember it. She was doing some magic stuff,
yeah, she either sent them to sleep or was controlling one of them, I think.
something like that. Yeah, by all indications, Shuna's a pretty skilled mage.
But yeah, I mean this. Look, the second season of Slime has been better than the first. Overall, it's just been better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to
It's been
seeing what
a
happens
lot better.
next. Please, please give me the Demon Lord outfit. I need it. I need it so much. It looks so cool. I've been
Rimuru does rock those.
I've been begging for
Right.
it since, oh god, probably summer of
Since the key
2019.
visual.
It wasn't even the key
Yeah, since
visual, because it was I can't remember when the key visual came out, but I remember at I think it was the Anime Expo before we met up, which would have been 2018 actually. No, was it the Anime Expo we met up 2019? Um,
yes.
where they were doing the whole collect a bunch of stamps and get a print of Rimuru. Um, I think that
Yeah,
was
I remember that.
I think that was the first time I saw it, and since then I've been like, oh, this looks so fucking cool. I'm so looking forward to this.
Well, you'll be getting it soon.
I hope so. It's not going to stop me from every episode that I don't get it sending in the chat blue ball yet again. Because they keep teasing it. They keep teasing it and not giving me what I want. Uh, anyway, moving on to Your Eternity.
Three Eternity is hard to. talk about because the story and characters are very interesting, but the production values have just they've declined quite substantially over the course of the second half of the season, which I do think that part of that is definitely on like the pandemic
Hmm.
impacting the production of the series pretty heavily since it's a
Yeah.
two core. But at the same time, like it really hurts to see a series with this good of a story get so negatively impacted by flagging production values.
Yeah.
Like the animation and the artistry for several of the episodes have just been not up to snuff to the
Hmm.
degree that earlier episodes were. Like you do get occasional bits like the screenshots that we see here right now, but it's just not quite up to snuff, you know,
I wonder
overall.
if that is the reason they went for something like 20 episodes, which is fairly atypical for an anime. It's usually sort of 21 to 25, or even 26.
N- no, based off of, well, this is from the most recent episode, which is episode 19, which concludes the story arc that we've been on for the past several episodes. There's only one episode left that will
Yeah,
serve
that's
as
no,
basically a
no, no, no.
coda.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if the reason why To Your Eternity had 20 episodes rather than say 22, 23, or 24 is because of the production, and them thinking they wouldn't be able to do, you know, 23, 24 episodes of good quality.
That might be it, but I'm thinking that they originally planned 20 episodes to start with before the production began, uh, and before it got impacted by COVID, just because of how the story got would be adapted episode to episode,
Hmm.
and episode 20 adapting a good stopping points.
Yeah,
Because by all indications, episode 20 will be a good stopping points, and episode 20 might actually tear my heart out again. But we will see about that. Um, this arc has had some good moments, and it's also done a good job of making me really hate Hayase, who continues to be a very excellently hateable antagonist.
mm.
But yeah, not much else to say beyond this is probably a series I'm going to pick up the manga for and read through because I want to see the story in its original form without the worry of what you call it,
Poor production
just the
values.
production of it,
Yeah,
and yeah, like everything I've seen of the manga's artwork has led me to believe that it's pretty damn good looking. So I'm definitely going to pick up the manga for this and read that because
yeah.
I want to experience the story in its original form for sure.
So I don't know. I don't know exactly in what chapter. Well, certainly part of To Your Eternity is on Azuki.
I think they.
Yeah, they've
No,
only
I'm
got
gonna have to pick up.
they've got chapters 1 to 4, and then from 125 onwards. Unfortunately, that is
So
the
I'm gonna have to pick up the volumes,
yeah. It is the
which I don't mind.
it is the big issue with Azuki is that they've got such big gaps in what they've got.
I mean, that was the issue with a good chunk of the Shonen Jump apps offerings for the time for a while.
Yeah.
So I imagine they'll fix that eventually. But
Hmm.
for right now, I'm just buying the volumes. But regardless, moving on to another series that has some similar issues to Your Eternity, actually, and that its animation and artwork leaves something to be desired,
Tokyo
despite having it.
Revengers.
Yeah, it has a pretty good story underneath there, and everything I've seen of the manga makes me think, oh yeah, this looks pretty good. I should pick up the manga.
Well, Tokyo Revengers is the latest in the line of has become a massive fucking hit because of its anime, along with Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen and Demon Slayer.
yeah, which is which is kind of odd because it does not have anywhere near the level of production values that Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer have.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one was really badly impacted by a pandemic. It would certainly not surprise me. But yeah, no. Tokyo Revengers is still pretty damn good. I do like the OST for both this and To Your Eternity. Actually, I should mention that. Like when I said production values, I mostly meant the animation, because the rest of the production values, like OPs, EDs, and soundtracks, they're all still really good. But yeah, no. Tokyo Revengers is all sorts of twisty and turny. Uh, in this screenshot here, we see a guy who seemed to be a traitor, but is not actually a traitor, about to brain the actual big bad who has infiltrated the heroes group. So that's fun. Like I said, it gets twisty and turny.
Mm-hmm.
Out in all the time travel shenaniganry, and you've got a recipe for a
Yeah.
fun plot. Yeah. Not much else to say about this one beyond the fact that shit's hit the fan in the current arc, and probably best to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to my third series in a row that I am talking about solo.
Tsukimichi.
This this might be my favorite isekai this season. It's hard to say because that screenshot. Uh, it's hard to say because Realist Hero has been improving a lot lately, but at the same time, this series is just plain fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like the screenshot is part of a training montage that Tomoe, the Dragon Girl, puts an adventuring party through, which includes stuff like carrying boulders up the side of a cliff and running around, running away from a wolf while your arms are tied behind your back. A giant fuck off wolf.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the main trio really makes the show because they have great chemistry both with each other and with the supporting cast, and their banter is just really fun. It helps that they are all three of them are overpowered rather than just the protagonist being overpowered and having a bunch of sycophants / admirers who follow him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes. The Gabaru effect.
Yes. So yeah, it helps that Tomoe and Mio are both equally overpowered. But no, this is a fun show. The production values do suffer a bit here and there because while this show earnestly wants to be a fun action adventure romp, um, the the production values don't really support the action parts the best at times. Unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be the trend for a lot of shows this season. For every Magia record that's popping up with the Sakuga, there's like 5 shows that are suffering from
I mean,
mediocre values.
we did talk about this earlier in the week that COVID is starting to hit Japan hard again, and especially
Yeah,
anime studios. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's been hitting Japan hard the last few months, frankly. And it's frankly a miracle we haven't had a situation like spring of last year, where so many shows got delayed. But
yeah.
do you wanna move on to our final show?
Uh, yeah. Let's do that.
So, our final show on the list today. Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun Season 2.
This show is fun. I really enjoy it. I'm sad that today's episode didn't
Yeah,
actually air today. We have to wait a week.
yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what part we ended on. Because I think we only have to talk about episodes 18 and 19.
Yeah.
So episode 18, we get the we get the resolution to fucking Renove being an idiot, and not thinking things through. As expected, Iruma uses Ali to absorb the blast. Then Sullivan does what Sullivan does best and brags about Iruma on on Hell TV, alongside fucking Renove's dad, who is literally just Renove with a mustache.
I do love that character's design choice. It is hilarious.
And I believe his dad's name is Renove Roosevelt.
The mustache lines up with that, yes.
And they end up throwing basically a big parade for everyone, for the students, but and also letting them stay in the Walter Park Hotel free of charge, which
is nice.
It's a dangerous move, giving Iruma a buffet. Very dangerous move.
Oh yeah, I know. Iruma does not know the meaning of restraint around food.
No. And so to basically hide out, well, then we have fucking Iruma asking Amari out on a date, which, hey, great stuff.
Good for her. She deserves it.
She does. And then to basically hide out while the attention goes down, Clara invites Az and Iruma to her house, which leads us to episode 19. And this screenshot, which is the Valak family welcoming Az and Iruma.
It's such a delightful family they have.
Yeah. Again, my favorite bit is just them holding the fucking picture of the eldest brother with the caption, "I'm at school."
That's great.
I assume he must go to some sort of boarding school, seeing as he's never around. Because he doesn't turn back up again, at night when everyone goes to sleep. So he must be sleeping somewhere else. We also get the.
I mean, he might just be going to boarding school.
No, that's what I said.
Ah, right.
And we also get the explanation why we haven't seen Clara's dad yet, which is he's an adventurer.
That explains a lot, really. Especially all the accoutrements around the house.
Yeah. Here's the thing I didn't get. Clara with her, or Clara's like make anything pockets is a family thing, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's like her lineage power or something.
And we've seen her use them to make food before, haven't we?
Maybe. Maybe they just prefer it naturally grown or something.
I mean, again, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, it did lead to just a funny sequence of them going out to get food, and Az picking up like the worst stuff, and then them hunting the thing that was literally just an entire meal on its own.
Oh
And
yes, the shabu shabu shark.
yeah, and then fucking Clara's mum just one-shotting it. I have to wonder what
That
rank she is.
I mean, it's probably fairly high since Oz is rank 4 and he couldn't deal much with it.
So Az is 4, um, and uh, Kalego and Balam are rank 8.
Yes. I'm willing to wager that Clara's mom is rank 6 or 7.
Yeah, that was my instinct. That was certainly my
I
instinct on that
believe
front.
I believe Omri is rank 6.
So yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the ranks for like Sullivan and the other people of his level are, but it's either 9 or 10.
yeah. I feel like 10 might be just the demon king.
Hmm, probably. But that does make so that would make basically the upper level high ranking archdemons all level 9s,
Hmm.
which makes and also makes Clara's mom being a rank possible rank 7 all that much more impressive.
Yeah. Okay, this is a potential because I've just looked on the wiki. This is a potential spoiler for Sullivan's rank if you want to know it.
Go for it.
Sullivan is rank 9.
That makes a lot of sense. So if Sullivan's rank 9, that means rank 10 is Demon Lord exclusive.
You say that, but um, again, possibly spoilers. I'm not sure. Either way, you know the two old people he was bragging about with or bragging to in season 1.
Oh yeah.
They are apparently rank
Are they?
10.
Oh, okay. I don't know what Sullivan still is then.
Yeah.
He is apparently like the strongest demon around besides the former Demon Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the reason he's not ranked 10 has something to do with that. I don't know. It's hard to really. I imagine that kind of stuff won't be tackled until much later upcoming material
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
Like I think the manga is past chapter 200,
Mm.
and I don't think we. I'm not sure if we've even gotten to chapter 100 yet
Yeah.
of adaptation. Well,
And, let's see. Go on.
regardless, not spoilers notwithstanding.
Yeah. Uh, it's just some interesting stuff. It's interesting that Sullivan is the weakest of those three, apparently, or at least the lowest ranked.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah. Uh, well, so the episode ends with who was it? I think it was it Amory's dad arriving at the Valak household.
Yeah, something like that. That's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering I'm fairly sure last time out, he suspected Iruma of being human, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
But yes, that is the end of the mid-season check-in. Even though for shows like Tokyo Revengers and Iruma-kun, it was closer to the wrap-up. Not Tokyo Revengers, To Your Eternity. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Really late where you are.
Not as late as the last time we did this, which I am very grateful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
very, very grateful. So tomorrow we have more D&D. Kaido has apparently said that the enemies will be give you nightmares spooky, which, fun.
Oh boy.
Should be really fun. Uh, Tuesday, no fucking clue what we're doing. Maybe Mass Effect, maybe something else. We'll just have to see. Um, don't currently have anything scheduled for Thursday, do we? No, we do. It's do we?
I don't believe so.
No, we do not have anything scheduled for Thursday right now. But we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll continue Civ. I'd certainly want to do that.
Game.
But we'll figure something out, I'm sure. And then next Saturday, we'll be talking about certainly one of my favourite games, Dragon Age Origins.
That's gonna be a fun one.
It's going to be a very fun one. That'll be with the two of us and Kaido, I believe.
Yep.
Otherwise, in terms of finding out what we're going to be doing on Tuesday and Thursday, follow us on Twitter, because that's where we'll post about it. I will try and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, after this I will post the tier list of the One Piece mustaches that we did on Thursday, so that you'll be able to find that on our Twitter, which is at storytime_net. Follow us on Twitch, obviously, to get notifications of when we go live, and subscribe to us on YouTube to see the archives of our past streams. I believe the one going up tomorrow, if I remember correctly, is there? Ooh, there isn't one going up tomorrow, but the one that went up on Saturday for me, today for Jack, was our discussion of Assassination Classroom, which was a lot of fun.
That was a fun time.
Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Actually, just before we go, we should inform you of when the wrap-up is. It is currently scheduled for the 2nd of October.
Yep. And all of the summer shows that aren't continuing into fall should be wrapped up by then.
Should be wrapped up by then, as long as we don't get any more surprise breaks. Yes. But yes, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Good night.
Later.